.2 RS rear bumper looks very similar to the .2 GT3. Obviously a different wing. So you have a little bit more aggressive angle on the wing. It's scooped a little bit more than the .1. You notice these side blades are a little bit more aggressive. We have a different plastic surround on the turbo, or the turbo-like inlets, and then you have the different side blade here, much more aggressive than the regular GT3. The fender vents now protrude outward, so they stick out inside the fender versus the .1 GT3. And then we have a completely redesigned front bumper, so the front bumper is very different as well. And then you have the newly added knock inducts that aid in brake cooling, so they are functional. Same roof as the .1. And then we have the lizard green. I think it's still Alcantara. You see it has all the lizard green accents inside. This has the same black steering wheel as the .2 GT3. Interior is very similar to the GT3. This has Apple CarPlay and an option for Bose. This car doesn't have Bose in it.
As you're rolling? Yeah, I need to drive it. Uh-oh.
Okay, 991.2 Lizard Green GT3 RS. I already feel at home, so that's good. I fixed the mirrors so I can see.
Yeah, so I've got side muffler bypasses.
Okay, side muffler bypass.
Speed. Yeah.
Yep, got it.
Yeah, other than that, she's pretty much stock.
Here we go.
Have fun.
I'll be right back. I like the fact that we have black and gray gauges. Wow, I can feel already, I'm telling you, I can feel much stiffer front springs. So the differences that stick out to me, and I'll show you some of the cosmetic stuff, but the differences that stick out to me on the .2 RS, the spring rate in the front is twice as stiff. Obviously the Cup car inspired 4-liter, red lines at 9,000 RPM instead of 8,800. Yep, already same sound you get from the same sound we get from the 991.2 GT3, but he's got the side muffler delete, so much louder. Where Chris's purple, the ultraviolet, if you haven't watched that video, the 991.2 GT3 manual that I drove, that car had just a Sharkworks bypass. So this is different in that it has the side muffler delete. Yeah, it feels a little stiffer in the front. So we have 20 more horsepower than this is 520 horsepower. I believe 8 foot-pounds of torque more than the RS. The .1 RS. So speed feels the same, but I can definitely feel a difference in the front end. Of course, we reach a minivan. Sound, the feel, the vibration I'm getting through the chassis, it's just different. It feels more refined. I think that's the best way to put it. Just feels less, I don't want to say raw, because there's still a massive amount of rawness to it, but it just feels like they fixed anything that might have been an issue. Not that we really had many issues. Now we got some room. Let's stretch our legs a little bit. PDK feels the same. A lot of the differences will be the exterior. The fender vents now stick out versus the others are inset on the dot one. The side blades or the little valance on the side of the car is different, sticks out. The front bumper's redesigned. You have the little intake, little scoops on the hood. The rear bumper's a little different. So you have those differences, and so we have a little more downforce. But what we're doing out here, you're not going to notice that difference. The biggest difference is the cup, the motor. There we go. Jeez, so fast. Does feel very similar to my car. I like this exhaust though. I like the way this sounds. Sounds more organized than mine. Mine gets a little whiny for me at times, my Dundon. Shut up and drive. $9,000. Oh. I hope that's not Ryan behind me in the Dot 2 GT3. Yeah. If I can get me one of these without losing my shirt, this is an improved car for sure. Not that mine is a slouch. The motor is pretty incredible. Road, by the way, insane. These Michelins are making, or I think these are Dunlops. I feel like they're making a little less noise than mine do. Although mine aren't noisy, I feel like these are less. Maybe that's the biggest difference I'm feeling. I do like the feel I'm getting in the front end, though. Some Cobras. How could you not love this? Oh man. And it's green. There's green everywhere. Green everywhere. Oh boy. Our last turn. driving the Dot 2, making me look bad. So the big question as we head back down the mountain here is, what would you pay to go from a Dot 1 to a Dot 2 if you had, like me, since I have a Dot 2 GT3 RS, or sorry, Dot 1, sorry to throw all these dots out at you, but since I have one, and I haven't had it all that long, what would you pay to get one of these? It's definitely better, no question. These tires though, I did get out and look, they are the new Michelin, the new spec Michelins, and man, they're great. They're whisper quiet. And a combination of the stiffer front axle and these tires really is pretty incredible difference. And so, man, but if you don't have this, and you don't drive it, and you don't have it to sit there and compare, it really isn't, you know, I don't think I'd pay a whole heck of a lot more for this over what I have. But if you were fortunate enough to get an early allocation, you got out of your Dot 1 quickly, got to enjoy it, then definitely do it. But in my case, and it's probably going to be $50,000, $60,000 to make that switch. It just doesn't make a lot of sense to me. This has steel brakes, but you can feel, I can pedal feel the brake, the difference in the brakes, steel versus carbon. Like there's a difference in the response to the pedal a little bit, and you would theoretically have less chance of fade, but again, I don't think GT3s don't have issues with braking. It's not a problem they have. Yeah, I'm telling you, I think stiffer front end and tires are the biggest difference in this car. And that's coming from a novice at best. A novice with quite a bit of seat time in GT3s. Let's see if his side muffler delete. No drone at all. I like this exhaust setup. So yeah, the question or the conundrum will come if I do get an allocation for this new GT3, what would I do? It would come down to almost exclusively to what would I get for my car. If I could get what I paid for it, then I would do it. If I'd have to sell it for something under sticker, you know, substantially, then I wouldn't. And then I'd be hard pressed to not do the Weissach package. We were talking about what the differences were audibly, and the guys were talking about how they thought it sounded more gritty. I actually think it sounds the opposite of that. I think it sounds less gritty, less NVH, less noise, vibration, and harshness. I do really like the sound of the engine though. This suits me more than mine, even more than mine does. I like a very organized sound. You know, a little on the loud side, get rid of the drone if you can, and make it organized. You know, no pops and burbles and all that junk. I don't need any of that crap. This new engine is just smooth as silk. So Ryan does track quite a bit, so he opted for the steel brakes over the... Lots of people take pictures of this green car. He opted for steel brakes over carbon ceramics. And that's a common misconception, that you would buy carbon ceramics if you were a heavy track user, if you will. The opposite is true, because you know, the carbon ceramics cost 20 grand to replace, whereas steel brakes are $1,200 less than that. 500, 600 bucks a rotor instead of $4,500 a rotor. So if you are going to be a habitual track guy, then you generally want the steel brakes, unless you just have infinite funds. Now, the carbon ceramics, as long as you change the pads, I know lots of guys that do frequent the track that have them. But if you're a heavy track visitor, and it's just going to get really expensive. Even with a $200,000 car, you still, to spend 20 grand every summer on rotors is brutal. Yeah, this is truly great. Really great. That's Alan. It's GT4. This is so great about staying here at the Cherohala. We're right on the Skyway. Staying at the Snowbird, you just jump up and you're right on an awesome road. It wasn't always this nice. In the last year or two, they paved it. All right, so that's the 991.2. So 2018 GT3 RS, lizard green seats, and steel brakes. I love it. I want one. I would get one if I can do it in reasonable fashion, but it's about what I expected. It's great, it's improved, but it's not night and day. It's not nearly as big of a difference between, say, a 997.1 GT3 and a 997.2 GT3. But you can definitely feel a stiffness difference in the front end. Much stiffer. So that would be a detriment if you're driving around town all the time. Look at what I started, a car sharing bonanza. So there you have it, 991.2 GT3 RS. Because what happens when the force pulls you back, your foot naturally comes off the gas. You have to keep your foot to the floor, foot to the floor.